guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another retro magazine thing. Because this time we're going to be covering GamesMaster International number 3 from October 1990. Some fantastic stuff in this and well worth a look through. Now, as I've mentioned in some previous videos, these tend to be my least popular videos on the channel. Although I've been getting some great comments since I've asked, where people are telling me how they like the videos and the way they use them in some very similar ways to the way I use YouTube to entertain myself in the background while I concentrate on other stuff at work, for example. I so connected with the people who made comments like that because I can identify that's what I do a lot of the time, have YouTube running away in the background. So thanks for those comments, but please comment down below. Do the YouTube stuff. Please like, subscribe and comment down below, letting me know which magazines you like best, which of these articles I should be focusing on. There's been suggestions that I should go into a slightly deeper dive on the adventures, fleshing them out and saying what's in these adventures rather than just a very brief summary that I often do, which wouldn't work for today's magazine because it tends to be more about role-playing culture. Although I do find the way it's introducing stuff to be absolutely fantastic. It's a real great look into the 1990s. Anyway, as usual, I've been wittering on, so let's go over and have a look through GamesMaster International number 3. So, this is GamesMaster International issue number 3 from October 1990. Now, GamesMaster International is looking at role-playing as the entire industry. We're going to get a lot of play-by-mail stuff in here, a lot of live role-playing stuff, computer games, everything. And we're not going to get loads of adventures or stuff like that. It's from Newsfield Publications, who had loads of computer gaming magazines out at the time, and it's very well presented. Now, one of the things I'm noticing with a lot of the UK ones is the same people cropping up so many times. Obviously, in previous issues we had a lot of occurrences of Terry Pratchett, but these days I seem to be seeing lots and lots from Joe Dever. Sadly no longer with us, but was the author of the Lone Wolf game books, and they were absolutely fantastic. They introduced me into role-playing. But more than that, he was part of the Games Workshop team at the start, very, very upfront in introducing role-playing to the UK market. Now, one of the things about GamesMaster International is they have little comments on the spine, and this one has, "Cthulhu sends shivers up my spine." So they don't really say the issue number, they just tell you the month, but they have these quirky little quotes on the spine. Anyway, carrying on inside, we've got an advert for another Newsfield International, Fear, their magazine of horror, science fiction and fantasy on film, video, and in books and comics. We've got a small introduction from the team, including Wayne, who appears in so many of these magazines. A tiny little contents section, and then we're straight into loads of news. We've got various computer games coming out, Interceptor, Lord of the Rings from Interplay Electronic Arts, the Buck Rogers game from US Gold SSI, Bolt Thrower, who are a band who released lots of stuff based on Warhammer, especially 40k. I believe they gave away a single with White Dwarf magazine. I think I've got it somewhere. An advert for alchemy, sort of miniatures. Jewellery. Then we've got an article on miniatures. An advert for It's a Crime, play-by-mail. Again, lots of stuff about miniatures. And one of the things that they did very heavily in this for role-playing games was do deep dives. Now, obviously, the internet wasn't really around in 1990. I know it existed, but it wasn't something lots of people were using. And you didn't have great ways of finding out about role-playing games, apart from speaking the guy in your gaming shop. But if you wanted to find out more, these did deep dives where they really, really delved into all of the stuff about role-playing games, supplements, etc. And GURPS is a fantastic one. Obviously, we've got GURPS Space and Cyberpunk here. So we've got an overview of the system, and different books which are available, an advert for Chill there. And then we're on to Pendragon. So it's given us a bunch of information, checks list of stuff you got, how the rules basically work, where it came from. As I said, an advert for Pendragon 3rd edition. An advert for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Really surprises me how Palladium Books adverts were so plain. We've just got very plain text and then an image Given all the fantastic artwork they had, I would have thought they could have done something far more interesting, lots of cover images to advertise all of these books, but we're just getting very much plain text. Play by mail, review of a game called Quest. Then we're back to GURPS. We've got GURPS Space, and we're delving into that. The Worlds of the Confederacy. The GURPS Space Bestiary. Advert for Ralpatha Miniatures. Is Devium Games. I don't know if they're still going, but they've long propped up role-playing in the UK. A video game called Murder. I don't remember that at all. A game called Centurion Defender of Rome for various computers. Advert for Gen Con 90. A review of Cthulhu Classics and At Your Door, which we've covered on the channel, a modern day adventure. I really liked At Your Door. Subscribe to your copy. And then we've got Arena of Theatis, or Theatis. Obviously something for Dark Sun. Winner Miniature. Article on painting your miniatures. A extract from Plague Lords of Rule by Joe Dever. As I said, that's one of the novelizations. Information about the Lone Wolf books in complete. Reading Room, so reviews of various novels, including The Difference Engine by William Gibson and Bruce Sterling. A novel which I think holds up, absolutely fantastic. That's how I got into steampunk. Eye of the World, Fortune of Fear by L. Ron Hubbard. Raise magazine for consoles. Win a signed limited print of the original Lone Wolf. Snake Eyes, a scenario for RuneQuest 3. Fancy a quick snifter, old chap? An article on alcohol and drugs in Space 1889. Effects, what other drugs there are. So, play by mail. Various games. Really don't have an interest in play by mail. I tried one once and just didn't get into it, I'm afraid. Sadly, one of my friends actually run a play by mail company, so probably should have made more effort. We've got live roleplay, including somebody with a cybernetic arm back there. Live roleplay weapons, giving a sample of how they're made, how to cast the foam rubber, etc. A large article on safety in live roleplay, so how to hold weapons so not to break fingers. Conventions across the UK, various contacts, an advert for 2 Clive Barker novels, including Nightbreed Chronicles. Must have been just after the movie came out, because that's certainly a still from the movie. An advert for what's coming next month, the letters page, some more classifieds, Dave Langford's Critical Mass, so his reviews. Yes, he's jumped through several magazines by this point. Is there anything interesting I see in it? Nothing which jumps out. Nothing I've read it, certainly. Another one of the very plain adverts from Palladium Games, this time for Rifts. Very nice image, but just so much text. And on the back cover, we've got an advert for Axis Allies and Shogun, and my mother's old address up in the corner, because I got this posted to me from James Young Newsagents in my mum's hometown. Anyway, that's GamesMaster International. There's a lot of fantastic stuff in there. While it's not the kind of magazine I like, filled with adventures, filled with role-playing commentary, there's a lot of interesting stuff, especially as this is the period that I was majorly into role-playing, majorly into fantasy, majorly into science fiction. So I remember so much out of this. So that was GamesMaster International issue number 3. Some great stuff in there. Now, in the past I've talked about how I tend to love magazines which have adventures in them, because they are little peeks into the game worlds of different systems. So while I might not have time and money to go out and buy a brand new role-playing game, looking into the world and seeing what kind of adventures you have in that and the tone of those adventures by seeing them in a magazine was absolutely fantastic. But GamesMaster International found a very different way of letting you look into systems by these deep dives like they did on GURPS in this issue, introducing you to the system, going over roughly how it works and showing you the variety of books available for it, which with GURPS is absolutely massive. So I do find that quite an interesting thing, and it kept my interest, as well as all that loveliness from 1990s of role-playing games coming out. So many systems I didn't look at, but I would have loved to have seen at the time. Things which populated the game shelves when I was going in every couple of weeks. But anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough, so thank you very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.